And off we go. All right, so they are going to be 30-minute chunk and choose. I'm trying to really keep it into that schedule so that I can do 30 minutes of the content and make sure that I still have time for questions and answers and little breaks in between. Because if you're anything like me, I just need a few minutes of processing. And I think that's going to get longer and longer as the further we get into this, just because everything is so new and there's still so much information coming out. So, yeah, just give yourself some grace and just know that all of this is being recorded. It will be uploaded into YouTube. You can watch it to your heart's content at another time. So you will not hurt my feelings if you go, okay, if this is going to be recorded, I can come back to it later. That's fine. Um, I welcome you to do that. I've had to even watch some of my own videos and go, I'm going to have to send out a new thing because they've changed it. Meet has been sending out so many new things. That's why this first one is going to be a little bit about some of the stuff that they have changed and how that impacts what you guys are doing. So today is all about creation of videos, sharing videos, screen recording, and then we'll do an appy half hour at the very end of the day on the iPad and look at apps that are both for you and for kids as well. Um, but it's all about video, again, participating. Most of us have gotten this about now, but you do have click to mute. You can leave the call here. You can click to turn off your camera or on and off there. How many people are here and who is here is up in the top. You have a comment box, and that's going to open up and let you see anything that I send you or that you have questions. So that's how you can participate back and forth with me. And then you have this access more options over here. And we're going to talk about that bar just a little bit too. So to get this bar all together, you just need to be out of the chat window and roll your mouse to the bottom. To roll your mouse to the bottom, and I want everybody to kind of do this with me, you're going to actually go to the left side and where it says the link or it should say Friday link because that's what I named it. Um, this I actually scheduled in my calendar, and that's gonna be something that I talk about how to make that happen, but all my joining info is in here, and I can copy that and send that at any time. I can also send you attachments in that window as well, so if I want to attach something and everybody gets that when they get in, I can attach it right through there, and, it would be in the Google Calendar, I guess, as well, because it says Google Calendar attachments show up there. So that's kind of your joining info. If you're ever looking to find that information after you've started something, it's always going to be there. Uh, they've changed a little bit on how their links are created and when it's in because we had some feedback from teachers across everywhere, not even just our teachers, that when they created the link, kids were getting back in and all those kinds of things. And then parents were confused because we didn't say that there was a class, but the kids were on with other kids. There was no teacher or adult there. So there was kind of some confusion behind it. Google has answered that. By being a little confusing. So we those changes have made it just a little bit more mindful, but I think that it's actually going to help us in the end. So just kind of bear in mind that as things change, they will change. In that same white bar, if you go to the right hand side, you get the option to turn on captions, and you also have the You Are Presenting area. If you've not used that yet, it's going to show whatever is on your screen. If you only have one screen, you're going to select the screen that you are wanting to share. Most people, that is the area that they struggle with the most, is the next window that comes up. They'll say, oh, well, my share button is grayed out. Well, yeah, the share button is grayed out. Um, and you have to click it. It doesn't look like a clickable button, it just looks like your screen. And there's only one thing to choose. So just go ahead and choose it. It'll put a box around it, and then you can hit the blue button to go ahead and put that up there. And so that's a question I get quite a bit. At the very last part of those options, again, is the three dots. In the three dots, you have the recording. You can change your layout. You can do full screen. The captions are in there. Settings for your cameras and things like that are all in there. But the main thing is the starting and stopping of your recordings. And what's nice about the recordings is that it will record your face as the presenter and whatever's on your screen, which means kids can come back and watch what you presented for those who may not have access every day, those sorts of things. So recording is pretty easy within here. The other thing is you can create video straight from here without inviting your kids. So if this is something you know and you don't want to have to learn another product and you still want a picture of your face and so that you're connecting with your kids and they see you and they hear your voice, but you want to walk them through things, you want to do that sort of thing, but you're not really wanting questions or anything at this point, you're just doing a walkthrough and you're wanting to create a video, you can still use this, just don't invite anybody to your link. So that might be, a way of helping you not have to learn one more product. I'm going to share more products with you, but if you're like, I just need one quick and easy, Casey, just give me one thing, that might be your one thing. And so just kind of knowing how that works for you. Again, the chat over to the side, when you click that open, it's going to have all of your messages. Your messages are recorded as well. What Meet does, as soon as you say stop recording, it creates a folder for you in your Google Drive. And I'm going to show you that on here. So then in my drive, I go down and I now have one called Meet Recordings, and it creates it for me. And it will throw me a video in here, and it will throw a chat as well. So anything in the chat will show up here as well. I have a really bad habit of not always going back and naming everything, but to do that, I can just say, so this one was actually named the name of what I called my meeting. Okay, so that was me meeting with a teacher yesterday, and she wanted it recorded so she could have what we talked about afterward, right? And so to rename it, though, I can just come in and rename and type what I want it to do. It's going to give you a timestamp of when it happened. So that does help if you're going back and it's just the gobbledygook name that they gave it, because this is the part of the URL after meet.google.com/. So that's what it's naming it, is whatever that link was. And so that can be kind of overwhelming when you're doing classes each week or anything like that. And we're going to talk about how to kind of manage some of that anyway when we get a little bit further in. But what's cool here is that then you've got that video. It's easily uploadable to YouTube. What I found, and this was my learning experience the last time I did this, is that I had so many teachers who came in to watch the videos after they were created because, of course, we've got all of these meetings and we're trying to meet with our class and we're doing all these things. So you may or may not have been able to get in, but you may have wanted to watch it. It shut down my links and it throttled how many people could watch my videos in Google. And I'm going, there is nothing online that tells me that I can't have unlimited people view this video. So anyway, I was very annoyed at it, but I learned my lesson. I'm gonna put it on YouTube, and again, if it's got kids and things like that, make it a unlisted link so that the privacy of kids is kind of there, or make the recording after kids go off the screen. And so that gives you an option to just see your face and what you're presenting and not kids' faces. And then that should be safe as well. So, just kind of some housekeeping when it comes to when those Meet recordings are put out there. Again, you do have the chat, and I'm going to talk about some different things because I can pull up some of these chats, and they're not pretty. Sometimes they have good information, and sometimes I'm like, that's just too much for me to go through and figure out what I was trying to do. What do I need to do out of that? And that's where the some of the apps and things we're going to come back to are going to come into play. So in the shortcut controls, just remember that you can hit Control D or Control E to get to your camera or your microphone back, especially if I mute you for some reason. That's going to be the easiest way for you to find it. Otherwise, again, get out of the chat, go scroll down to the bottom, and you should have that wide bar. Okay. Some norms. make sure you're signing up. I am trying something new today, but I cannot guarantee it's going to do what everything I want to do. And since I'm trying it new, I just want to make sure that I do give you guys credit. I put that in the chat, but if you don't see it, I can put it again. It's just a quick form. Tell me where you're at and what session you went to. And if you plan on being here all day, just sign up for all of them. It's not time sensitive for me. It's really just so I can send that to Anne Rodriguez for you guys to get credit in Eduphoria. I will automatically log all of you in, so it's going to be based off of that form. I log you in, and I will sign you up and everything for the courses, so you don't have to worry about that piece. I will automate all of that for you. But it'll be all off of that link. All right. Again, Grace, 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 Grace. You guys are doing an amazing job. If you have not heard it a million times over, please know that we absolutely think you are amazing. We love what you're doing. I got new access as an admin to all 5 of my campuses in Seesaw, and I get to see all of the just incredible connections you guys are making with your families. So just know that every little thing you do is being noticed. And I now have a greater access to be able to help you, which is really cool too. And just looking at just the sheer volume of how much you guys are connecting with families is just amazing. I'm just blown away, and I know that's happening in the Google Classroom environments as well. I just can't probably be and I don't need to be in every single one of your classrooms. That would be very overwhelming, I think, for me by the end of the day. But just know that we're here for you. You are made for this. I mean, that I can't say it was my favorite slogan for us at the beginning of the school year, but now that we've come into such a strange world, I'm like, you know what? This was it. This was exactly the message that we needed because we are absolutely made for this. You are the absolute, and I'm going to say this all day, so you're going to hear it, but it's so telling, I think, of our time is you are the best teacher that these kids are and families in our community is ever going to see in their lifetime during a world crisis like this. There is no standard. There is no candle or height that you are trying to reach. You are the very best they're ever going to see. So make it count. And I know you are every day. Do what you're doing. Stay the course. You've got this. Okay? Um, quick message. Virginia, you can't get in. I saw you earlier. Or for the link. You mean the link. Make sure you're using the chat because I may not see it
I'm in now. I went the
messages
other way.
when I happen to see that email.
Thank you.
But you should be able to use this one right here.
Yes, I'm in now. Thank you.
It opens up for me. That always doesn't mean everything. So let me know if you still can't get into that. Okay. Again, home learning, it's an opportunity to really engage the whole family, especially when you're looking at those younger kids, when you're looking at kiddos who are not independent learners. You are building such amazing opportunities for them to really grow and be able to see exactly what they can do, and just know that there's with a new announcement today that there is a potential that what we've kind of been stymieing with not giving a final declaration of something, this is a place of hope for our parents and even for us. I mean, I was on with a teacher yesterday and she was just in tears. She goes, I want to go back to school tomorrow. I miss my kids. I miss my routine. I miss understanding what I'm supposed to be doing. She goes, I mean, even just going outside for recess every day is just like ingrained. And I'm like, oh, I need some sunshine and I'm stuck in this meeting. Or, those little things that we take for granted in just our hearts are so tied to what goes on every day in our classrooms, and we are so passionate. And I know that's you guys, or you wouldn't even be here because you'd be going, I've got other things to do, rather than trying to learn to meet kids' needs and meet your own needs to make this better for everyone in the long run. But just know that they're in the same place with you. And so, and there's of course all this stuff now about parents who are like, we're giving up and we're not going to school and we're not doing this. So, and you may be hearing some of that too. Just remember the key message for parents right now that are frustrated is school is a safety net for our kids. We have made a very scary world for them. They do not understand it. And without normalcy in their life, and that is schoolwork, without the normalcy, a lot of kids don't know how to process, and that takes one more thing away from them. Rather than thinking as a parent that, oh, well, it's frustrating, or oh, well, it's this, they don't have the background and knowledge about how kids' little brains work. And that's safety and security for them. And so just be calm and be encouraging and things like that. And this is a great way of making that happen. So, meet extensions. All of these I put again in the chat. And I'm going to put that in there again just in case you didn't see it, because you are going to want these links. Um, so these are cool. So the first one is called Nod, and it's going to live up in the top left-hand side of your screen when you are in a meet. And it has the same little icon that's on the screen right now. And when I click on that, it's going to take me to the Chrome store. I can also go up to my colored waffle and go to the Chrome store. I just figured, you know what, we don't need extra steps. It's totally fine. And so I'm just giving you the direct link to the specific extensions. I've already added it, but you're going to have a remove from Chrome. Make sure you're logged into your HEB account. And then this is going to automatically install up in, so you see how it has it up here, up in the top here, and it lets your kids um, give you a thumbs up or a happy or a I've got a question. And it uses emojis to help them respond to you without having to turn the microphones on and off, which is especially harder for little ones. And so that's pretty cool. You can get notifications that they are raising their hand, so they can raise their hand and ask you a question, different things like that. They need to have it installed as well. So you might even want to take the page that I just sent you and make a copy of that for yourself for you to use with kids if you wanted. This is going to be on the Chromebook or a computer, so I don't know that it's going to work on an iPad. I have not tested it, so that's we'll test it this afternoon when I get to that. So then the next thing, once we get through Nod, is meet attendance, and so this may or may not be a thing for you. But when you add this one, it lets you take attendance to the people who are here. And it's going to show up in the top right hand area where it says people, and it's going to give you options to start taking attendance of everybody who's in your meet. That one I'm trying out for the first time today, so I'll tell you how it goes. I haven't really played with it too much yet. I haven't had an opportunity to, so I'm really excited. But you should just be able to capture. It does ask for permissions. I can absolutely put these in Google Classroom. Um, and it'll have all of the little pieces. And so then you just turn it on and off by the little toggle. There's a little toggle that comes down in green. And so you can see all the controls are just right there. So it's really, really simple to use. So that one's really cool. The kids don't have to have that one. So that one's really for you, just to kind of figure out who's who's there, when did they come in, how much did they actually see? Because sometimes you're just trying to teach as much as you can teach, and you're not sure exactly what all they ended up getting. And it makes it easier for you to say, hey, I now have a record of a connection with a family for your documentation for families and things like that too. Um, So, like I said, I'm trying that today, and then maybe I won't make you sign up for forms for every one of these, and I can get it through that way. But I wanted to make sure it worked before I didn't have another option to capture that. All right, so then grid view for Meet. So anyone who was using Zoom before and liked how you could see all of the pictures of the kids on one screen, that one is going to make that grid view available like Zoom did. Again, you're just gonna add it, and then it's gonna have all of the different pieces. It lives up in the top right-hand corner again, and it has this little box that comes up, and you turn it on and off by clicking the box. They have new features that actually opened up today, and it will do only show participants with video. It'll highlight a certain speaker. It'll include you or don't include you in the grid. Enable the grid view by default so that it automatically turns on when you turn one on, and then enable screen capture mode. And it will force everything into a video. It takes the names off the screen and it locks all of the videos in place so they don't move all over the place. Okay. So that's kind of cool. Because if anybody like you, the kids move and then the whole thing shifts. It goes crazy on your screen and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So you can kind of stabilize that a little bit for yourself, which is cool. Um, all right. So those are the extra. Oh, one more. So then again, you can see all of those in here. The last one is kind of cool because, like I said, those chats are not really that comprehensible when it comes down to it. This one I'm trying for the first time today too. Someone else told me about it and it looked really cool. So this one actually makes notes and a transcription for the Hangout Meet, which means that you can also have closed captioning on your um, videos. So if you've got parents or whatever that need that, it can be easily translated then for families who, if you're doing everything in English, you could put this into Google Translate and it's going to translate the transcript and they can go along and help kiddos at home in their home language. I mean, there's all kinds of things that this is going to open up opportunities. And then it can capture important conversations without losing the focus by writing notes. Again, it kind of plays um, kind of some different ways to do. So to do that one, you turn on captions, tap part of the transcription to pin it, and then you can export your transcript at the bottom. So again, I haven't played with it a whole lot yet, but this might be something for you in the classroom. I'm just trying to kind of think outside what people are asking me for, what they can and can't do. So that might be something that you're interested in as well. All right. So those are some of the new kind of items. All right. So creating and sharing is kind of our next area. So I'm going to show you this is probably going to go forward as the best thing going forward. Okay, so you're going to go to a new tab, go up to your waffle, and go down to calendar. From calendar, you have the option to just click. This is just my calendar for my HEB Google account. See, my G Suite account is up here with my HEB email. So today's Friday link is right here. If I wanted to create a new one, I'm just going to click in the box. It's going to give me a new one highlighted, and I can say that I want my class meeting. Okay. I can click on add time. I can change the dates to say I'm going to do it for an hour in the morning. I do not have to add guests, but if I want to, I can add guests by typing in their name below. Okay, so Kathy, I'm going to make you my guinea pig. Okay, so then it's going to show me users right here. I can hide, I can mark as optional, I can remove it, I can see guest availability. But if y'all aren't using your Google Calendar, that's probably not going to make a whole lot of things. Suggested times, things like that can all be in there, or you don't have to have anybody in there, and that's totally fine as well. So then add locations below that, and then sometimes you're going to see it automatically. I've been doing it so often, it's starting to just automatically create one for me. But you have the join Hangout Meet option. And when I click that little arrow, I can just come in and enter an existing meeting code. I can play around with that or just use that one as my code that I'm going to be sending to parents. So for littles, you're either sending that through Seesaw or through the parent email that you have in Outlook. So that makes it super easy to just have it there. Okay. And so once I have all of that, I can say, use this link just to remind myself. I always put, use this link for your Friday virtual PD, or use this link for your class meeting. The other thing is cool is I can say more options, and it's going to open it up in a larger window. And I can say it repeats weekly on Friday. And now I'm going to keep that same Hangout Meet, and it's only going to be available in the time frame that I gave it. So now I'm not sending it over and over and over again as a new thing. I've already got it created. I have it sitting in my calendar. I don't have to go looking for the link. It's all kind of on there. I can take care of that real quick. All right. Better, Tanya? All right, so again, that's going to hang out there. Again, I can look at all that information again. It'll put up notifications for you, different things like that. You can add in guests if you want to, but you do not have to. Okay, so all of that is going to be within your um, Google Calendar. So then when I click on that, I can join my Hangout, or I can copy the link and go straight into my email and write an email to our parents, okay, and that sort of thing. So that's one option. And I'm going to show you another one as well of one of the changes, okay. The other cool thing about that is that when I go to Meet, it now has my links in here as well. And notice that I name my meetings. The meetings are named and usable through those names if you name it for HEB domain only. So if it's a kid and they're logged into their Google account, or it's a teacher and they're logged into a Google account, if they type in Friday link, they're going to be able to get in. And so they could use it that way as well. I find sending the link to them is less of a opportunity of user error. So that's typically where I go. But you can see that I've got all of my calls lined up. I'm not having to go anywhere else. I don't even have to remember my calendar at this point if I don't need to, because I've got them all here and I can schedule them like that. That makes it a little bit easier to manage them. So the other thing that you can do is go to Google Classroom. And so if you're not a classroom user, then you can just ignore me for a few seconds. So I can go into a classroom, and I'm going to go to this one that doesn't have anybody in there. And so the first time you come in and you've not done anything with it yet, it'll say, hey, did you know you could turn on Meet? And it's going to be up here in your settings button. From settings, I come down to the general section, and it will have an opportunity to turn on and off the Meet. And you can make it visible or not visible for students. So if I turn that on, generating Meet link, and turn it on to students. I can copy, I can reset the code all from that window, okay? And if I need to learn more, they've got more opportunities right here that you can read about what you can and can't do. But this is the main summary of it, is basically I want to be able to make that now visible in my classroom. So I'm turning that on for my kids. And then I'm gonna go to the classwork tab, and here I have a Meet icon. I can click the Meet icon and join and go straight into my class from there. Okay. I can also create an assignment and tell them I want them to go to my Meet. Okay. So if I like the calendar option, I can still do the calendar, put my link in there, and that's going to be totally fine. I can also use the Google Calendar for that classroom. So notice this is not my calendar. This is my Google Classroom calendar. I see both, but I'm going to take the rest of that off. Then this is all I have in that technology one. Then I would be able to do the same thing, but only the kids in that class would see it. Okay, and that would be who had access to it. So if you wanted to give everybody a notification, they would also get this in their Google Calendar, but they wouldn't have to go to Google Calendar because it's already in their classroom. So I hope that kind of clears up how to use it within classroom environment itself, even using the calendar option. So then again, that's that meet, and so you can turn that on and off by just coming in and saying, "No longer off," on, and now it's gone. So that can come on and off as needed. So I hope that kind of kind of shows you some of the cool things. Um, if you click out of everything and you close a link, unless you have it scheduled for a certain amount of time so that you can go back and forth into it, it will no longer be an active link and it will tell them, I'm sorry, this link isn't working anymore. So before, we used to be able to just go to Meet, click on it, join a meeting, send out the code, and I could just keep that code as long as I named it. It's not going to let you do that anymore. Okay, so just kind of be mindful of once you've left, it's going to be gone. So that means you're not having to go in and change things within the classroom. You're not having to manage it in Seesaw, those sorts of things, so that kids don't have access to an online environment without an adult being present. Um, and they cannot, in our system, create a meet on their own. So there is kind of a safety measure in there. Um, all right. I went over my time a little bit, so I apologize. Do we have any questions
Hi, Casey.
on that?
This is Tanya. So you're saying that option that you just showed us through when we're in Google
Was that new
Classroom?
information? Was that repeated information?
No, no, no. You just showed us in Google Classrooms how you
All
can
right, I'm gonna
assign
stop
the
the recording.
Google Meet.
I'm not